Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And today it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is the Kaijuotaku. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. Thank you for joining me on a brand new, that is, episode of Who's That Cosplayer. And before we get into today's interview, make sure those who are watching, you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Are you ready to get into today's interview?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Hey, Jinx, you owe me a soda. So, something that we love to do here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is we love to hear everybody's origin story. Every hero or villain, they have one. So who is the Kaijuotaku?
Okay, so funny thing about my stage name or cosplay name. Originally, it was like, well, not originally. It was my gamer tag originally back during 360 days, and then it kind of stuck with me throughout time. That's how, like, because I like giant monsters like Godzilla, and I like anime, so kind of fused those two together, and that became my stage name for the most part, like during 360 days, like the 360 era, more or less.
Yeah, the olden days.
Yes, yeah, where everyone was raging over Call of Duty.
Yes. So how did you get into cosplay?
So I just kind of jumped into it more or less. Like, I didn't know exactly what it was, until like I started getting more into it. Like, the first convention I went to was Anime Mid-Atlantic, 2013 or 2012, I believe. Like, I was like, I want to go to an anime convention, so I went to one. I saw all these really cool cosplayers. I'm like, you know what? I'm totally going to get into this. So the first cosplay I actually did was Shinji Ikari from Evangelion, because crippling depression is fun. And I'm like, because I related to Shinji a lot back in the day, and then as I grew older, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna branch out to more and more different characters as I go out throughout the years.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I got into cosplay. I just kind of just jumped into it without like thinking too much about it. Like, what exactly is this? I kind of knew what it was, because I was like in the anime community, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get into this.
Nice. And I always think that it's awesome when you hear like how people get into cosplay or attending their first con and whatnot. And I think it's awesome too that you merged both of your two fandoms that you enjoy, and that became who you are in the world of cosplay. Now, something that I wanted to say was, I did my research on you. I checked out some of the costumes that you've done, and I see that you do like a lot of horror cosplays. And
oh yeah, for sure.
And so I'm definitely going to get into asking you the horror questions and whatnot. But I wanted to touch on the pyramid head that you did. Like, one of my friends, she's a huge Silent Hill fan, and like as soon as I saw your pyramid head, I was just like, okay, I got to send this to her. So, like, how long does it take to make something like that? Because I also see that you do a lot of your props as well.
Like, okay, so the helmet, the first one I did from Silent Hill 2, the original pyramid head, that took like roughly a few days to build. I can't pinpoint of how long, but it probably took like 2 to 3 days to build the helmet, because I had to measure everything, like my head and the helmet, and make sure I'm able to see out of the thing and whatnot. That took like roughly like 2 to 3 days. And doing the helmet was the equivalent of doing geometry. Like, I had to make sure I got all the angles right for the original Silent Hill 2 pyramid head. And then the Homecoming one, I kind of did on my own, because I had help originally from one of my friends for the Silent Hill 2 helmet. And the second one, the Homecoming pyramid head, I did on my own. Like, I just kind of took leftover scraps of Ava foam, glued them together, made sure it was sturdy enough. And boom, that's how the helmet came out. As for the knife, the giant knife, the behemoth one, I made like 2 of them. The first one I made was made out of cardboard and fabric and Rust-Oleum spray paint, and it's still, I still have it. It's upstairs.
Nice.
Yeah. And that I made out of yeah, I made it out of those materials, and of course it's very light too as well. Whereas the second one, the one that's on the left hand screen of that picture that I'm looking at right now from my camera, that one is really heavy, like especially if I'm pointing it at somebody. And that's made out of a piece of debris of a stick and Ava foam cardboard, like layered upon layered, more or less. And I used Rust-Oleum spray paint and also plastic dip, like the what you get at Lowe's, not the spray on plastic dip, but the painting plastic dip, which surprisingly enough messed up my brush, so I can't really. Well, now I know he's spray on plastic dip now these days when it comes to giving that prop that good old shine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that's something that I've noticed about a lot of the stuff that you made, because like I said, you know, you make your own props, and then even when it comes to some of the costumes that you've done, like I've seen the pictures of how everything comes together, and
yeah,
you know, I always think that it's very artistic and creative when you could make everything yourself, and there's nothing wrong with you know, ordering stuff online, but I feel like that it takes a lot of time and energy. And like how you had said a few seconds ago, you know, you have to like play with everything to make sure that everything is in the right spot, that you can see out of it and whatnot. So pinky's up to you for, you know, like taking the time and like putting it into creating stuff, because that's one thing that I love about cosplay. And, you know, it's like I've always told myself that it's like one of the cosplays I want to do. I don't know if you either watched or you know what the anime Ronin Warriors is.
I have not seen that anime, or I've never heard of it before.
It's old, man. Like it came out like in the late 80s, early 90s. It's very similar to Sailor Moon. It's pretty much Sailor Moon with boys and they have armor. And I want to do a cosplay of the Inferno armor from that show because it's just so badass. So like I said, pinky's up to you, because it's like seeing the work that you put in, it inspires me to like, well, if you know Kaijuotaku can do it, then I can do it too. It takes a lot of time. So like, what is some advice that you would give to somebody who is, you know, that's been doing cosplay for a while or wants to get into it and they want to make their own props and crafts and stuff?
This is like the second time someone's asked me that question, but the best advice I can give is probably just do your best, more or less, and keep working at it and just keep going and going until you've improved like a lot. Like I've improved mostly with like modding, because I'm a huge modder for the most part. Like I'll mod like say that jacket from Male Bayonetta.
Yeah.
And yeah, I modded that, and like ignore that beat. I need to turn.
No, you're fine.
Okay. And that beat, not beat. Close window. There we go. So like, okay, what was the question? I zoned out again.
No, you're cool. You were talking about advice to anybody that wants to, you know, craft their own armor and stuff.
Oh, armor, yes. So I just got into foam smithing. And I started well with a cardboard, and then I kind of confused the two together of cardboard and craft foam to make samurai armor for Gakupo, Samurai Gakupo from Vocaloid. And that had an interesting interesting, like it was more sturdy, to put it simply. It was really sturdy when I crafted my first samurai armor from Ava foam and cardboard and craft foam. That's usually what I normally use, and that's what I can recommend, especially if you're starting out. Like if you're like a newbie at armor building, I would recommend starting off with cardboard and craft foam, and then branch off into Ava foam to improve more and more.
Nice. Now, next question, because I want to keep it on the topic of horror stuff. You also cosplayed as William Birkin from the Resident Evil series.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil. I just finished up Reaper Honk like last year. Never got to debut it, but he's on. I'm gonna debut him eventually for Neko and Katsu.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be at NekoCon this year, so I hope that I get to see you there and I get to see you in it. Now, I wanted to ask you, because like you said, you're huge into Resident Evil.
Yeah, I am.
Which Resident Evil is your favorite one?
Oh, gosh, goody golly. Like, originally I started out with Umbrella Chronicles, and then I think my favorite one is probably 2.
Okay.
Yeah, not the remake, but the original. Like, I like the original Resident Evil games, but I don't mind the remakes. Yeah.
All right, well, yeah. Well, why don't you like the remake?
Like, I don't mind them. I mean, I think they're okay. Well, 3's okay. 2 is good. Because like 3 was really short. That's why.
Yeah, it was. Like, yeah, 3.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people didn't like it, because it was like really, really, really short. And I'm like, I don't mind it. I mean, it's perfect for speed runs, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but there was no replay value. You know, at least with the Resident Evil 2 remake, just like the original, you had the part A's and the part B's, and then you had all of these alternate costumes that you could put on the characters. And whatnot. Whereas with Resident Evil 3, it's just like once you beat it, it's just the same thing all over again. Like there's no different paths, and that was one of the cool things about the original Resident Evil 3.
Yeah,
that
you get chased by Nemesis, of course.
Exactly, you got chased through Nemesis the entire game. And like there was different choices that you could make that affected you know what ending you got in the game and stuff like that. And I just feel like that it was a letdown that they didn't do Resident Evil 3 as good as the Resident Evil 2 remake. But I found out that the Resident Evil 3 remake was made by a different team. It wasn't made by the same team that did the Resident Evil 2 remake. So
yeah, it was still published by Capcom though, but it wasn't that bad in my opinion. I mean, I might give it another replay at some point when I have a chance to.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, but my thing is that I don't think that it was worth $60. And the only reason why you were paying the $60 for it was because you were getting the
no, it wasn't
the Resident Evil Online game, which that was fun. But you know, after a while,
I never got around to testing that one out.
It was fun, man. Like I enjoyed playing as I can't remember what it was called, but the person that you know set up all the traps and stuff like that. Like it was just fun trying to kill the survivors as they tried to escape. But like I like how you just said, you know, Resident Evil is your favorite. Between Resident Evil and Silent Hill, which one do you like more?
Probably Silent Hill because of the atmosphere with the entire game, and it doesn't rely too well. The original Resident Evil games relied on atmosphere, but like Silent Hill 1 through 3 heavily relied on atmosphere, like to creep you out, like to give you that weird, like this is uneasy feeling.
Yeah. See, I've never played the Silent Hill games. I know I take that back. I played the first Silent Hill game, but I really couldn't get into it. And I don't know why I couldn't get into it. I guess it was because when I played it, the PS2 was already out by this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, after playing, because Code Veronica was the first Resident Evil game that I had actually beat. And you know how it is. It's like, it's kind of hard to go back and play PlayStation games when it's just like you're playing on newer systems.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I'm trying to finish up Silent Hill 4, but like I'm like focusing on Ninja Gaiden 3 and also Resident Evil Code Veronica because I just started that again because I totally messed myself up during 360 days with like playing the game because I got halfway through and I was completely out of ammo. I'm like, whoops. And then I just kind of gave up from there. But now I'm actually playing a little bit wisely by avoiding enemies and just kind of like conserving my ammo because that's what the original Resident Evil games were about back in the day, just conserving your ammo and supplies.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Now I want to ask you this question now, like, because I said you've done so many amazing cosplays. What are some of the favorite ones that you've done? You're welcome.
Well, see, now I just finished Samurai Gakupo from Vocaloid. That's one of my favorite ones. It's still hanging on an armor stand upstairs in my room.
Nice.
And second favorite would probably Mel Haruko from Fully Cooley, just because I like to act as that character, just act crazy and just kind of do stupid stuff, like go run through a hall with a guitar and say lunchtime, like from the anime. There would probably be Beat from Jet Set Radio because I used to play that game a lot back in the day. That was another thing I was gonna bring up that like slipped my mind because that game, like I said, I was king of the streets in that game, like literally in every literal sense possible because I would collect all the graffiti souls. I knew the entire street like the back of my hand, and yeah, those are like my top 3 or 4 favorite cosplays.
Nice, nice. Yeah, Jet Set Radio, it's one of those games where I wish that I had played it when it was out on the Dreamcast. I
Yeah.
played it when it was re-released on the Xbox 360.
That's what
And
I did because I didn't have a Dreamcast. I mean, it still has the same graphics and everything. It's in a little bit in HD clarity.
yeah,
Has
it's
all the
fun.
streets and music and everything.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. Like I had passed on it. I don't know. I feel like with a lot of classic games, so like sometimes, you know, if you played it originally, like Crazy Taxi, for example, like I love Crazy Taxi. Like if I go to an arcade and there's a Crazy Taxi there, then I'm gonna play it. But when it got re-released on the 360, it was cool, but the original music wasn't there, you know, because of copyright and all that other stuff, which is understandable. But I mean, like, you know, there are some classic games, like Persona 5, for example. I beat that this year, and because I fell in love with the game, I was just like, okay, I got to play Persona 3 and then eventually Persona 4. I'm playing Persona 3 right now. And like it's a PS2 game, but it's like everything still holds up pretty well. Like the story's good, the graphics are good, and sometimes you really don't get that with a lot of video games. Like kind of like how I was saying about with Silent Hill. When I played that, I was just like, I mean, it's okay. It's no Resident Evil, and there's nothing wrong with that because there really is like that fandom where it's just like I only play Resident Evil, I only play Silent Hill, I don't play either or, you know.
Yeah.
Who's that cosplayer?
Jenna, say what?
But so now I wanted to ask you, because your Kenny cosplay that you did, I can't remember. Yes.
Yeah, from the episode where Butters gets a shuriken stuck in his eye.
So, like, are you a huge South Park fan?
Yes, and I did that cosplay because I thought it was funny as a joke, like to just go around like just cosplaying Kenny and having shurikens in my hand. I know me and one of my friends, we have this idea of like me throwing like, I don't know if you played the Yakuza series, the new Yakuza / South Park crossover.
It's been a while. Honestly, I've only played the first.
Yeah, like I would like for Katsu as a joke, like I was gonna throw a shuriken in one of my friend's eye, like a fake shuriken more or less.
Yeah,
because it's made out of AO and cardboard. And surprisingly, just as a joke, like just go whoop. Because Goro Majima's eye, one of Majima's eyes is missing, and he wears an eye patch. So it was like a joke that me and one of my friends had. I'm like, you know what? I'm totally gonna do this just for giggles. And also like for like Neko, we were me and I was planning on cosplaying Kiryu from Yakuza 0. Yeah, Yakuza 1 actually. And he was planning on cosplaying Goro Majima. We were gonna do the Friday night dance at Neko this year. And also do a Naruto run down the hall.
Nice. Yeah, it's always fun at NekoCon just seeing people. Like I remember there was one person and I think they had like a sheep army or something like that. And she was just walking around and like everybody was her sheeps. And it's always cool just seeing, you know, people do random stuff. And that's the one thing that I love about cons, because like what's random and weird to everybody else at a con, it's the norm. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like, well, hey, can I be a sheep too? You know what I'm saying? Now I wanted to touch on, because you had mentioned something about dancing, and I saw on your page that, you know, that you're a raver, you're a dancer.
Yes.
Like now, this dancing, is that like something that you've always been into, or is that something where it's like you went to NekoCon, went to the rave, and it was just like, I love this, I want to keep on doing this and learning more about it?
Yeah, like I mean, I started like raving when I was like, gosh, could have got like 17, 18 years old. Like the first rave I went to was at a bar in Richmond, at 25 Watt. And then let me rephrase that. The first rave I went to was Anime Mid-Atlantic, like 2013, 2014. And that's when I like got heavily into the rave scene, like just more of the EDM music and also the people and the culture as well. That's when I got into raves, was at Anime Mid-Atlantic. Because I remember like they played like a lot of remixes of Legend of Zelda music, and I thought that was really cool that they did that back in the day during Anime Mid-Atlantic. Like when it was in Chesapeake, Virginia. That's how I really got into the rave scene, more or less, was through a convention. Then I just started looking up like where raves are in my area. Like there's plenty in Richmond, and there's one in as well as in Virginia as well, like the entire area of Virginia, the vicinity itself. But yeah, that's how I got into the rave scene.
Nice. Now, something that I was going to ask you next was about the cosplay that you're wearing right now. I'm not familiar with the character, so who are you cosplaying right now?
A Visual K version of Gakupo from Vocaloid, the dancing samurai that surprisingly is by the creator of Berserk.
Okay,
nice. Like the concept, I didn't know that until like someone pointed it out to me. I'm like, that's really cool because I like both Berserk and Gakupo, and I did not know he created a Vocaloid, like the concept for the character.
Yeah, man, and Berserk is one of those. It's such a good story.
Yeah, it really is. I have yet to read the manga, but I watched the anime. It is really good. The anime is really good.
It's very intense, and
yeah.
Berserk is one of those. I guess you could say like one of the forefathers, where it comes to like characters having like the big swords and being medieval badasses. Because I mean, like we see it in so many animes, even in some cartoons, and even in video games, like in the Final Fantasy VII games, where Cloud, he had the giant Buster Sword. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, same goes for Pyramid Head. He has a giant knife that's like really tall.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see how the story is going to end because as we know, the creator, he passed away a few months ago. Rest in peace. And it's like this series has been going on since the 80s, and
I thought it was around the 90s is when it was going on.
What the manga came out in the 80s. The
anime, wow.
Yeah, the original anime did come out in the 90s, and then they did the second anime. I want to say it was like 2016.
Yeah, I saw like the 2016, 2017 version. I cannot follow it for some reason. I'm like, I mean, I was able to follow I was able to follow the 94 version, but like 2016, 2017 version like left off. Like I saw a few episodes on I couldn't understand it, or I didn't like not get it, but I like it was hard for me like to figure out what was going on because like the original one left off of a cliffhanger. It was really straightforward, and yeah.
See, I never even watched the newer one because like I just heard it got so many bad reviews, and
I noticed.
Do I really want to invest my time into watching something? Because it's like there's so much more anime out there that you can watch now. Like there's so many platforms where you can watch anime at, and it's like with me and my team doing reviews for anime, it's just like we want to be able to watch something that is highly regarded, or even if it's something that's new and like it's catching some buzz, we would love to do that. But there's some stuff that just comes out and you're just like, yeah, I'm good on it, or at least watch the first episode just to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
So moving along, I wanted to ask you, when you're not cosplaying or working on building crafts and stuff like that, what are some of your hobbies that you like to do?
Aside from working full time, playing video games for the most part, watching anime here and there. I just got into Skate Infinity, which is so good. Nice. And like in my opinion, it's better than Air Gear, which I actually like Air Gear as well. And sometimes I'll do artsy stuff. Sometimes I'll go to raves. Those are like the only like 3 to 4 different hobbies I have. And I'll just hang out with friends, talk to them,
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you have any, what are some of your favorite video games that you haven't already talked about up here on the episode?
I have a few. Devil May Cry is one of them. Like I like the third game just because Dante's a reckless boy. And I like Dante's Inferno, which is only in one single game, which is based off the Divine Comedy. Yeah.
It's a good game.
And it is. It's like God of War.
Yep.
Almost. God of War is also another series I like, which I need to play the first 1 and 2 because I have them from PS2. What else? Aside from Resident Evil and Silent Hill, Outlast is good, but only for one playthrough. That's the sad part about the game. Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, the Metal Gear Solid series. Blanking out on the other one. Yakuza is also one of my favorite video game series as well.
Nice. To touch on like Yakuza and not Metal Gear Solid, Devil May Cry.
Yes,
A lot of the cosplays that I've seen that you've done, it's just like, they were inspired by these games because they're your favorite. One game that I'm surprised that you didn't mention, and it was a cosplay that I saw you did Smoke for the Mortal Kombat game.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, Smoke is like one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters, even though he wasn't in 10. And no, yeah, he was in 10, but not in 11 because he got picked off.
Yeah. Smoke is a really interesting character. I really don't remember that much about Mortal Kombat 10 because I don't think that was he up there before? Was he up there pre-DLC or DLC?
I believe DLC because he was part of the Triborg thing.
Okay, that's I don't remember. Yeah, because I think I had sold the game before the DLC had came out. But yeah, I mean, like Mortal Kombat, it's always been a really good series. It's one of my favorites. When you think of fighting games, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, those are the ones that are always at the top. Usually on Mortal Kombat, I'm always playing with Sub-Zero. He's my favorite character in the game. Now, another question I have for you is like, what are some of your favorite con memories or stories that you've had from your adventures at going to the cons?
Favorite con memories is kind of just Naruto running around as Dante, like at GalaxyCon. Like, hey, like I don't know, I know you know Dreadhawk or David. Yeah, like I'm like, hey, David, hold my camera for me. Just goes Naruto run at full speed down the hall at GalaxyCon. Just because it was funny to do, and then Moon walks back. Second con memory is just like meeting new people and also hosting a bunch of photo shoots with those individuals, like group photo shoots, like my Vocaloid photo shoots, Resident Evil photo shoots, all that good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, those are like my fondest con memories, and also like just spending time with my friends, like close friends, more or less there.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the cool things is just being at the cons with your group of friends and just having a good time. I mean, like it's cool going there by yourself as well, because it's like you meet new people and then you form bonds with those people. But it's just like when you go to the cons with your friends, just like in an interview that I had did with Permade Cosplay, when you go to the cons with your friends, it's like you're going there with you're in a tag team. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you guys wear matching outfits and not outfits, but matching cosplay outfits and whatnot. No, I'm wrong about the matching cosplay outfits. I mean, like cosplaying as characters from like the same series. There we go. I don't know. I mean, but hey, it's cool to wear matching cosplay outfits. Yeah. I've seen people wear like matching cosplay outfits, so that's fine. But I meant like if somebody was to cosplay as Deku and then somebody else was to cosplay as Todoroki or Bakugo. And since we're speaking about Deku and Todoroki and Bakugo, what are some of your favorite animes that you enjoy watching?
Gurren Lagann is like one of them, next to Evangelion. Like anything by Studio Gainax / Studio Trigger is like one of my favorites. Kill la Kill as well is a good one. I'm thinking off the top of my Skate Infinity and Air Gear, of course. Those are my two favorites as well. I'm blanking out on. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Panty and Stocking is also a good one as well. I highly recommend it if you're like into the lewd humor type of thing, and if you're into like really graphic humor, as the word I would use.
Yeah.
Those are like some of my favorite animes. Oh yeah, another con memory I actually remember is like getting people hyped up like multiple times at conventions after giving a big speech about believing in yourself, especially as Kamina and Haruko from Fluculi. Like at Otakon 2018, I got like during the masquerade, I got everyone to raise their fists in the air after getting them to believe in the me that believes in you, the whole Kamina speech thing.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was like, I'm just like, just who the hell do you think I am? More or less. Like the speech is on my YouTube channel. Because I got the email other actually like other masquerade performances I did back in the day. And there was one, this was like kind of embarrassing, but yet funny to me. Like after like, this was like 2014, I believe, at Neko. Like I was running really quickly as B from Jet Set Radio to like tag the walls of Neko, like kind of virtually, like, like kind of make a little virtual tag thing. And my cat ears and my headphones almost fell off, and like while jumping off the chair and doing a 360, like, and I'm like, whoops. And of course I tagged the walls, and surprisingly I won something. Like I was like gonna head back to the hotel to change or to do whatever it was I needed to do. And like I get a call from one of my con friends. It's like, yo, you won something. I'm like, wait, what? Are you kidding me? And I run back to the convention center at full speed, jumping over everything in sight, like from jet set radio, just like and bobbing and weaving around people and running up the stairs at full speed. And like the judge for Judges Award is like, hey, yeah, he's here. And I'm like, I just had this look like, wait, I actually won something. What? What? Like, I was just like so surprised. I was just like looking at the award, like, what? And then the guy's just like, go ahead. Like, he's like, I was gonna go the opposite way, but he's like, he led me to the other way, the other stage, not other stage, but the other way to exit out.
Yeah,
that was like one of my best memories I actually remember, and that was actually like, I found that really funny because like I'm just like, this is really cool. I actually won something. And also, like going on a pool as Bayonetta, like at Otakon 2018, like at the hotel, like just because you know how Bayonetta is, she likes to pull. Yeah, because that's one of my favorite games is Bayonetta 1 and 2, which I'm excited for 3 as well. She like, I'm like, hey David, record me going on a pool, and I just like go whoop, just do a complete 360 on the pool.
Bayonetta, I mean, it's another classic, Capcom game. No, that's not, no, it's Sega. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it says, no, it's made by Platinum Games, actually. Sega didn't do Bayonetta. It was Platinum Games that did Bayonetta 1 and 2. It's like a hack and slash game. Yeah,
because isn't, I believe some of the team that did the Devil May Cry games did the Bayonetta game, because I mean it's kind of similar in a way.
Yeah, it is. Especially you can switch weapons and whatnot.
But yeah, man, like that's awesome that you had like all of these awesome experiences at the cons, and I appreciate you sharing these stories with me and the viewers that are watching this right now. So, thank you for joining me. This is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer, and I had a really fun time. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for giving the advice that you gave to inspiring people in the world of cosplay that might want to build armor and to know what they need to do it. So before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you.
On Facebook, on my cosplay page, Kaijuotakus Cosplay, and I have a YouTube channel, Kaijuotaku as well. And I have an Instagram as well, Kaijuotaku, same name. And I have a TikTok as well where I do mostly flow art occasionally, and I'll occasionally post there. Not that often, but yeah.
Nice. Thank you. And thank you again for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer. And you already know where you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks at @KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again for watching a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. And like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Sayonara.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.